Hammer and Nigel Show.
The Hammer and Nigel Show.
It's bigger than ever.
I've been here for 25 years, and so I have heard everything there is to offer on local radio. Most of it is swill. So why don't you guys have a show making decent money on one of the radio stations? I feel like you guys are far more interesting than what's out there now.
Live at Coach's Tavern.
This is Mark Boyle, voice of the Indiana Pacers. You must have nothing else to do because you're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show on X1.
It's the Hammer and Nigel Show, live from Coach's Tavern. HammerandNigel.com.
We are off and running. A cold, nasty night, rainy night. Started off warm today, but now it's like an ice cold, freezing-ass cold rain, bringing one of those nasty fronts in. Sucks. I'm so done with this spring or whatever the hell you want to call it. I want warm weather. I want hot chicks in short shorts, and I'm ready for that now.
Oh, yeah.
This is the Hammer and Nigel Show, downtown Indianapolis, Coach's Tavern, 28 South Pennsylvania Street. We're here every Thursday. It's the official home of the Hammer and Nigel Show, the best sports bar in downtown Indy. If you haven't been to Coach's, stop by, talk to Adam, talk to Tom, talk to Crystal. Lovely Crystal back here serving us our drinks tonight. They'll set you up. Plus, we want to thank Jason Hess of Keller Williams Realty. He's bald, he's bold. Your house is sold with Jason Hess of Keller Williams Realty. Our new sponsor, Fast Times Indoor Karting. Glad to have these guys on board. Fast Times Indoor Karting. We're having the Hammer and Nigel Show kickoff to May, like our big drunken race party at Fast Times. It's coming up May 8th. It's a Wednesday night. It's 8 o'clock. Graham Rahall's going to be there. We'll have some VIP passes to come out. So make sure you keep following us on Facebook, on Twitter. We're going to have a good time. We'll have some more information on that as we get closer to go time. Sunrise Coffee, my friend Bob Paddock, runs Sunrise Coffee, the premier provider of awesome coffee in Central Indiana. Not only do they brew the stuff right here in Central Indiana, they provide all the equipment, as well as our good friends at All Pro Painting Company. Call 918-5003 and ask for Greg. And with all this rain coming down, there's a good chance you're probably going to need to mow the lawn whenever it stops. And if you're like me, if you're a big lazy fat ass and you don't want to do it, Ava's Lawn and Landscape will. They do it all. Fences, decks, all that good stuff. Call and ask for our good friend Eric. And we've got all of these fantastic sponsors on our website at hammerandnigel.com. Now, my tag team partner, Senior Fat Ass, Big Nige, he is not here tonight. I was in Florida, what was it, a couple of weeks ago?
2 weeks ago.
And Big Nige is taking the family down to Florida now. So he's down in Florida, away from cold rain, away from, bad, severe weather. He's walking around somewhere in a Speedo embarrassing his young child. So Big Nige is not in the house tonight, but this is exciting because we've got an all-star cast here tonight. Coming up here in just a moment, filling in for Captain Lardass, the lovely, the talented, the First Lady of Rock and Roll, Laura Steele, will be here from Q95.
Yes.
She's putting that sweet thing right in my face right now, and I like it. Also, coming up here in just a few minutes, we're going to talk about all kinds of fun stuff. The NFL schedule is out. We'll talk about the current state of media. We'll talk about hate mail and everything in between. You know him, you love him. Bob Kravitz of the Indianapolis Star will join us here in just a little bit. Before we get rolling, our good friend Black Marcus is in the house. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good.
BS, producer extraordinaire, is here.
How you doing?
We were talking a little bit before the show started that the NFL schedule came out tonight, literally right before we came up here and started the show.
Yeah.
And arguably the biggest game outside of the AFC Championship game against the Patriots a couple of years ago, Peyton Manning's return to Indianapolis is shaping up to be October 20th. Now, here's the deal. We're taking the annual Hammer and Nigel Show drunken trip to Vegas, and I'm leaving October 20th. I will be in a Denver airport during the Colts and Denver game.
Really?
So I've got to rock out the Andrew Luck jersey just to piss people off, right?
Oh,
I mean, it's almost a law that I have to be that guy.
Okay.
Now, with that being said, BS, what's the over-under that I get randomly selected for a security screening in the greater Denver airport?
There's no question it will happen, and they will go long and deep and
They won't stop till they get to the back of my teeth.
You talking about a
They're going to get the
security
rubber
check?
glove on. They're going to tell me to relax. They're going to take me in the back room, and I won't have a solid poop for years.
Oh, my God.
That's what's happening on the 20th. But you know what? I'm from Indianapolis. I root for the Laundry. I love Peyton. Don't get me wrong. Peyton's my guy. And as a Tennessee Vol fan, that's my football Jesus. But I live in Indianapolis.
Yeah, you kinda
I'm a
got it.
Colt fan. Colt strong, baby.
Got to represent.
Let's get the first lady of rock and roll in the house from WFBQ Q95. Miss Laura Steele is here. How are you, hon?
Hi, I'm co-hosting. Is that what I'm doing? I'm co-hosting?
You are. And here's the thing that bothers me tonight.
Not that I'm late.
No. Normally when Nigel's here, he's the fat one. Well, now I'm looking around the room, and I'm the fat one. And that's disappointing to
No,
me.
here's the thing. No, actually, you're not fat, okay?
I'm just big boned.
No, but the winter really got me bad. I mean, I gained, I can't fit into my jeans anymore. I'm like,
Oh,
trying.
you look
Yeah.
great. You
Well,
look like $1 million damn dollars. You were bent over talking to Bobby Kravitz here a
I
second
was talking
ago.
to his beautiful wife, actually.
And
but
you had
yeah.
that thing out there, and it was giving me all
Did
kinds
you
of stares, and I liked it.
Well, here's, I want to explain something. First of all, yes, I am normally, and Brad Shoemaker can definitely attest to this, that I am late. Usually I run about 5 minutes. Yes, I run about 5 minutes behind schedule for most everything, but not my shows, because I do all these shows and I have deadlines.
You're
And
all
that's-
over the country,
I'm
right?
all over I can't wait to talk to Bob Kravitz about deadlines. Our guest tonight, your guest, our guest. I feel like
Our guest. This is
Yes.
our show
I
together.
feel- I know, I
We're
can't
gonna make
believe it.
sweet radio love here tonight.
I know. Oh, okay. Well, here's the deal. I was ready to be on time tonight because I thought, what an honor for you to ask me to co-host and fill in for Nigel, who I adore and love and miss, and already am, ready to cry like a baby because he's not here. Okay, fine. No, I'm not. But anyway, I was ready to leave, and I had a sitter, and my daughter was, she's going on 6 next month or in June, so we're just a little bit, 2 months away from her 6th birthday.
Okay.
Wiggly tooth. A couple of
boy.
them.
Uh-oh.
And she was complaining earlier that her mouth hurt, and she was touching it, wiggling it, and I'll be darned if that thing just an hour ago came loose.
Yes.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's out. Yes, my daughter.
It is gonzo.
It is gonzo, and I hate anything dental. I am so anti-dental. If I go to get my teeth cleaned, I have to have laughing gas. If I have any dental work, first of all, I don't want to talk about anybody's teeth. I don't want to look at anybody's teeth. I don't like teeth. I don't want to talk about gums or what's it called? Receding gum? Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't.
Receding gum
So
lines.
there my daughter has this dangling tooth, okay? And I'm going, I'm screwed because here I am, the mom, But the sitter was already there, and she was jumping for joy. Oh my gosh, it's ready to fall out. I'm like, I'm getting queasy. I was almost had to cancel tonight. I was ready to throw up. I was so excited. That is a great parent moment to
It
have
is.
your child lose their first tooth, and so there it is dangling. I'm like, I'm out.
Now, is it ready for the tooth fairy? Is it?
It not only is it ready for the tooth fairy, she went to the bathroom, ran to the bathroom, and she goes, and it was like she didn't say this, but she might as well. My daughter, my five-year-old daughter, going on 6, might as well have just said, "I got this, Mom. Don't worry, I got this." She ran to the bathroom, and she could have said that, and she had it. She goes, "I got it," and she took it out. She just literally, it was dangling, and she just pulled it right out. And then I said, "Let me take a picture," and I'm videotaping, and she's like, "Oh no, I got to go upstairs." And she beelined it for the bedroom, her room, and it's already under the pillow.
Now, I don't know what the rate is going
I
in
know
the
what it
Steel
is.
House, but what is what's the tooth fairy charging these days per tooth in the Steel House?
Well, I've already had a few people I called very close friends, and a friend said, "Throw in $5 for me," and then so I was
it's the
saying,
first one, so there's got to be a little
It's
extra
5,
kick in
and
it.
then a friend who's got a cute little puppy. He's like, "Put in $5 for the puppy." I'm like, "It's not for the puppy; it's from the tooth fairy." But
I love there's a progressive jackpot growing.
I
in the
know.
tooth fairy
I'm gonna
tooth
get
tonight.
$5 for Bob Kravitz and his wife too. In fact, I'll start taking collections. So
You're making me look bad right now.
why?
Because the girlfriend just had her 5-year-old son just had
right,
his
wait,
first tooth.
And what'd you do? Two?
Just $1, you know?
No, $1. Oh.
BS told the little bastard to brush your teeth next time.
That's better than
that's-
us, though. When we were growing
I
up, we
figured,
had
we get the
50
I
cents or
got
whatever.
50 cents or whatever.
yeah.
No, $5 from the tooth fairy.
This
I
kid's
almost
gonna
said
have
Mom.
$100 under her pillow tonight.
I love
Yeah.
that Bob Kravitz has got. We forget about. Okay, I don't want to say forget about my. That was a big moment. So that's my That's my reason for being 2 minutes behind schedule tonight, because I had to get her situated into bed. And
Oh, that's fine. And I'd just like to point out, too, that normally when we have a conversation on this show about something coming out of somebody's mouth, it's totally
I know,
different.
that's so gross.
It's totally different.
All I thought
Tonight,
about is this was so innocent and fabulous, and then I'm
innocent,
going to go.
it's
Then I'm going to
charming,
go get just
It's
completely.
endearing.
Yeah.
Mr. Marcus, can you go ahead and grab our fine guest for the evening, Mr. Bob Kravitz of the Indianapolis Star?
Yes, sure, sure.
And he can probably tell me what he thinks about how much we should give, because he's got two. I think they've got 2 kids. Maybe Bob does.
The
We'll
rate,
find out.
it's probably inflation at the Hammer House. It can go from 5 to 10.
Oh,
and
oh,
depending
wow.
on the severity of the incident, if it was a bad tooth pull, you kind of feel bad. So you pull some
No.
strings, and maybe the fairy puts in a few extra bucks.
She was brilliant. She was amazing. Hi, Bob.
Wasn't that a drinking game back in the day in the old Bob Newhart show?
Was that a-
Anytime somebody said, hi, Bob, or hey, Bob, you had to take a shot of some variety.
Hey, I do want a
Bob
shot.
Newhart show.
I think after that, I do want to get
Mr.
a shot.
Marcus.
And what is our beer sponsor tonight?
Oh, we've got anything that you would like, my love.
Stella and a shot of your choice, but no.
Let's get a shot from Mr. Kravitz here and Mrs.
Jameson.
Kravitz. Okay.
I was gonna say we can go without the tequila night since Fat Ass isn't here, right?
Yeah. Senior fat ass is down in Florida, so we can go with some
'Cause
Jameson.
I'm more a whiskey, Scotch guy. anyway,
Jameson,
so-
that's the way to go, man.
There we go.
All right, Jameson. Can
All
you
right.
do shots of Jameson?
Let's do 5 of them. Marcus,
Okay,
can you get us
shots-
5? 5 shots of Jameson.
And a Stella for me.
Oh, this is going to go well.
Welcome back to the show, my friend.
This is the way me and Eddie should have done our show. Actually, at some of our remotes, this is the way I did my show.
This is the way that I did business for 10 years when I was coming up through radio. And we were talking a little bit about this before Laura got here and before the show started. The game has changed a little bit. Not necessarily with radio, but with newspapers, too. Now, you joined us, about 2 years ago when we first started this little pony
Right,
show.
the monkey or something.
Right. And you were talking about how doomsday it was for the newspaper industry. Has it gotten any better since
Yeah, a
then?
little bit. The Star's doing quite well, actually.
I've heard that.
And we've made the transition over to digital. Now you break stories on Twitter, and then you write them immediately on the digital on IndyStar.com, and then you try to spin the story forward for the next day's newspaper. So it's a ton more work. It's a lot more work.
You're working harder for sure.
Right, and it's a 24/7 deadline now. It used to be if you had a 1 o'clock game, you could go to the game, take your time, go grab dinner, write your column, appears in the paper the next day. Now you got to be in about an hour and a half after the game. So, and with games starting later and later, deadlines are getting worse and worse.
Sure.
But as a newspaper, we seem to be doing all right.
Now, how's that paywall been treating you guys with the Indy Star? Because when that came down, everybody was like, "Oh,
How's that? What?
it's
What-
the paywall."
paywall.
Which,
Oh, yeah. Oh,
if I
yeah.
could explain this better, what is the paywall? You could probably explain it better than I can, Bob.
Basically, you get 30 free clicks on IndyStar.com.
Oh, yeah.
And then after that, you have to start paying. So you can get a subscription for the newspaper only. You can get a subscription for the website. But there's no more free lunch. That's
Right.
just the way
Yeah.
it is. And it's something that most newspapers are doing now. It's something we had to do. We gave it away for free
Yeah.
for way too long.
You guys were whores for a long time. You were giving it away for free.
I've been called that. I've been called
Just don't
that.
call me that.
Yeah.
No, no,
we
no,
wouldn't
no.
never do that.
Cry like a
But
baby.
There are 2 whores at this table, and it's not the lady. I'm
Not
telling
the
you that
lady.
right now.
No, it's done well. We've lost some readers, but we've gained financially.
What do you think about the older generation that their concerns? My mom would be one of them. The tangibility of the paper. I love that. And my mom is still clipping.
Nobody wants to take a computer into the restroom.
I do. I honestly
That's just the
do.
way it is.
I take the tablet in there when I'm dropping a deuce.
Oh,
I was gonna say, that's what the
okay.
iPad's for.
Exactly.
I'll keep
Yeah, then
that
you
in mind.
drop it in the toilet with that
I'll keep
deuce, and
that
you're
in
not
mind
gonna
next
be-
time I'm writing. I'll be thinking a hammer dropping a deuce. That'll
When
be
you're
great.
talking about that Colts Broncos game, I'm going to be in a Vegas toilet reading your article right on the can.
But no, it's worked out well. I mean, it took newspapers a long time to figure out how the digital world works. But heck, even prehistoric people like me have figured out how to do videos now. We're doing a live show.
You guys are doing video,
We're doing
yeah.
a lot of videos. I know how to do it. I don't do it very often. We're doing a live show with Frank Vogel after Pacers practice tomorrow. So
Excellent.
we're doing a lot of new stuff to make the newspaper and the website more readable and more entertaining.
You were talking about deadlines a minute ago, and Laura, I can't even
They
imagine
suck.
what your deadlines are like, because you've got like, how many stations around the country are you responsible for now?
Every day now, I do in middays in the same time same time slot at 5 all at once.
5.
And
Oh my
the
gosh.
other thing and I remember hearing about your latest issue with health. You had and you said that the pressure of deadlines are really my chest hurts sometimes when I'm in the studio, and I know Nashville's waiting. I'm on in Nashville, Tennessee, and in the last couple of days, really this past week, has been really stressful. I don't want to say stressful for me, certainly more stressful for the families and the people who were involved in the Boston Marathon and things, that have happened this week.
Yeah, we're
I'm on
in the toy department, but it's still it's very.
I know we're in
it's-
I don't want to, but I'm in Texas. I'm on the air in Texas.
Right.
So that was a little tricky today, and we're all putting together, food drive, donations and drives for those in West Texas, which is just, I think 90 miles maybe outside of Dallas, and I'm on in Dallas as well. So then I just felt that pressure. You want to say it right. You want to make sure that you're communicating with people and letting them know,
Right.
That it's communicating. We're both doing that right now. Do you want to do it? You want to do it well, but when you're under deadline, it's tough.
Oh,
and it's so stressful.
It's brutal. I mean, that's why I go out and have a couple of pops after.
Let's do this right now. Then.
Oh, we're gonna do it right now. Okay.
Yeah.
The lovely
All right.
Mrs. Kravitz is here, and we got her a
She
beverage.
is. Hey, cheers. She
Cheers
is.
to
There we
her.
go.
Cheers to you. And
Alrighty, BS, my
to
friend.
Nigel, who, this one's for him for not
No,
being here.
no, screw him. He's in
Okay.
Florida.
Games are starting later and later. I mean, I was at the Final Four last week, 2 weeks ago. The game starts at 9:23.
Yeah.
And your deadline is 12:15, so you basically have 15 minutes to write a column, and it's just so difficult. And I'm not saying my job is tough. I got the
That's-
greatest gig going.
that's what I'm saying.
But,
We don't wanna complain
Yeah,
about
I don't want
that.
to complain. But that is the biggest challenge, I would say, is being able to say something in a unique way when you've got 15, 20 minutes to knock it out. I mean, I've written, when the brawl happened, I had 35 minutes to try and figure out, what does this all mean? This is one of the biggest things that's ever happened in the history of the NBA and professional sports, and you got 35 minutes, which is almost forever.
Right. Now, I want to get back to some more uplifting stuff here in just a moment, but we've touched on two things already. Pressure of deadlines and how tough it can be to break some bad news sometimes. Like Laura, you mentioned you're on in Texas. They had the terrible
I was
incident
on the
in
air when
Waco.
Newtown happened, and I just dropped my daughter off at school, and it was just how do you do it? What do you say?
Right. There's nothing you can say to make it better, but I think more importantly, you have to be right. And we've noticed lately, whether it's CNN coming out with a false report,
New
somebody's
New
been
York
arrested.
Post.
New York
New York
Post.
Post.
Not even close.
Not even close. A kid was from high school.
Yeah, get a high school runner.
And pictured him in the crowd at the Boston
Right,
Marathon.
tell me that wasn't racial profiling.
And Fox News, if I remember correctly, when the Sandy Hook shooting, they posted the wrong photo of the person that was allegedly the
Well,
shooter.
there was a lot of stuff that came out that day, and I really, in my situation, because you're obviously more detailed in what you have to write, and you're in sports and I'm in rock, but sometimes in the sports world there's heartbreaking news. Same story, but in a bigger picture, and having something like Newtown happen, I say thoughts and prayers, and hey, a big hug from us to you. And even today in Dallas, I said that to those in West who are dealing with the tragedy in the fertilizer plant explosion. We are thinking about you. If you go to LoneStar925.com, ways that you can help. They're taking donations. To find the right words, and print, video, what you guys are doing now, whatever forum it is, when it's tough, it's tough.
The
it's
hardest
not easy.
thing, the hardest column I ever had to write was when we found out that Tony Dungy's son had committed suicide.
That's
And they call me and they're like, "You're on A1." I'm like, "What in God's name can I possibly write?" And then it was very difficult to write about Chuck Pagano. And I mean, you're dealing with real life issues. It's no longer why they punt on 4th and 1 at the 38.
Right.
Now you're dealing with life and death, and that becomes that really challenges you. But I think we saw with the Boston situation, sports writers, when they are forced to do news stories on terrible things, do amazing work.
They do.
Yeah.
At what point do you feel comfortable going with a story that you've gotten information on. Because when Hammer and Nigel break something, nobody expects us to be right.
Yeah.
But when Bob Kravitz tweets something or Laura Steele tweets something, then you guys got a lot riding on it.
Or say it on the air, yes.
I can honestly say I don't think I've come out with a tweet on a big story and have been wrong. I've got to be 100% right. I need to get it double and triple confirmed. Like the Pagano thing.
Do you feel pressure to be first, I guess? Because everybody wants to be first. But to me, and maybe I'm alone on this, being first
so
isn't as
me.
important as it used to be.
Being right is important. And trying to be right. I mean, it's hard. I mean, John Bon Jovi was reportedly dead. Yeah. And I didn't go on the air with it because...
he's not?
No, he didn't die.
Okay.
He's not dead.
He's living on a prayer. But man, Good night, everybody.
He went down in a blaze of glory.
Thank you.
2 drink minimum tonight. Yeah. You have to. It happens though.
There's so much pressure
stung.
now. There's so much pressure with Twitter and with the 24/7 deadline now to get it first. I don't feel quite as much pressure because I'm a columnist and I'm not really expected to break news. It's really the purview of the beat writers, whether it's Mike Chappell or Terry Hutchins or Mike Wells. But on the occasions that I do break a story, I've got to be 1,000% sure. I got to be willing to put my integrity on the line. Like when I found out that Pagano had cancer or had leukemia, I knew that for 2 days and had to hold that story. That's a whole nother bizarre story of journalism at work.
Not being able to break it and just being
no, I got it
ethical?
confirmed.
Are you talking about being ethical?
What happened was I got it confirmed on a Sunday. I found out on a Friday, and I got it confirmed on a Sunday, and was asked. The guy who gave it to me and told me about it, pleaded with me, said we are going to tell the team on Monday morning at 8:15. You can tweet it at 8:30. Nobody else knows about it. Clayton doesn't know. Mortensen doesn't know. Schefter doesn't know. Peter King doesn't know.
And that's a big difference from Napoleon reign, right? Because it seemed like all those dudes would get the scoop thanks to good old Captain Jackass first, right?
Yeah, Mr. You play to win the game.
Right.
So, yeah, it has completely changed with the Colts. Now they understand the importance of taking care of the local media first, and the national stuff comes second.
Our good friend Black Marcus is waiting patiently. Mr. Marcus, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good.
Thank you for the beverages. You are so sweet.
That was nice. I feel much better.
I know. Look at me sipping it. I'm such a girl. I don't ever do it.
Just knock it back.
Hey.
Stop it.
Really? Right now?
Yeah, right now.
Yeah, as long as it's staring at you.
Okay.
I want to sound like the old black guy.
There
it
it
is.
goes.
Drink it.
Just like in the old days.
Now,
I need a chaser with that beer.
especially
shot.
with the events of Monday and everything. Hammer touched on this a moment ago. I'm going to go in a different direction with it. If do you see there being a lack of accuracy sometimes when it comes to stories that are worldwide, affecting people all over the world on some sort of form or fashion? Or do you see there being a lack of accuracy when there's something that's happened on a local level that can possibly make it out nationwide? And what I mean by that is the State Fair stage collapse. Just about everything that was talked about, like 99% of what was talked about in the news, USA Today or whatever, was accurate. It was dead on the nose. Meanwhile, something that, could have far-reaching ramifications around the world, Fox News says something, CNN says something, MSNBC says something. Who do you believe? I mean, so what's the accuracy on that?
Well, the local stuff will always be more accurate.
We're here.
Because we're here and we have our sources in the local police department or, whoever it might be, But, I mean, what we saw again with the national media, with the New York Post, basically, that poor kid.
That was terrible.
It was just that poor kid's life is ruined.
And it all was because one backpack was not on. There were 2 photos of them. Am I correct on that?
Right.
And one, and the fellow's backpack was there, and then in another photo it wasn't. And then they showed them in the crowd, and I know they're asking
for the pressure. It's the pressure to be the first to break the story, and the New York Post could care less about ethics. I mean, this is the newspaper that gave us the headline: "Headless body found in topless bar." You know, I mean,
I didn't hear
one of the
I
great
think we
headlines
posted
of all.
their Tiger Woods headline this
Yeah.
past week on the Hammer and Nigel
the
website.
dropping the ball in the
Tiger puts his balls in
in
the wrong place
again. Yeah. Well, and the arrest too. They said we're all working as a team in every market that I'm in, whether it's Texas or Dallas or San Antonio and Nashville and where else am I?
You're all over
I
the
know,
place.
but Indianapolis, my boss had called to tell me, there was an arrest made on the bombing. So even that came out, and I just, I feel comfortable with what I do because it's rock and roll to say, latest news, Q95.com. Go to Q95.com. We'll keep you plugged into the latest news instead of jumping the gun and throwing out all this info.
But doesn't this come to a thing where, there's kind of a difference between what the Star does as far as its reporters and what CNN and MSNBC and all those guys are. They're almost more like entertainment news anymore. I mean, they're not, it's for entertainment purposes. You're not always going to get the correct
I don't know. I think
stories.
CNN.
but
CNN
CNN's
gets
a
it
little
right.
more, you're
But
right.
CNN was the one that came out with the arrest, and there was no arrest.
Right. Yeah.
they
The
got stung on.
Saudi
They got,
National, I think they said.
yeah, they got stung on that.
But
and,
unlike your local news, they
gonna
have to be
happen.
more conjecture. They have to keep talking. They have to
It-
just
it-
bring in opinions, and it becomes
It's not
more
like the
entertainment.
old days where we could spend an entire day gathering information, going to all the press conferences, talking to people.
Instant.
Now it's right now.
instant. It's
Right.
right now with
And
Twitter.
there's so much erroneous information that's out there that you have to weed through all the bullshit. I mean, you go through Twitter on a major story, you're going to get the most random crap you're ever going to find. It's
crazy.
When the Boston incident first happened, like anybody else, I got on Twitter to see if somebody's scooping something that may be right.
Right.
You see death tolls from 50 to 12
12.
to
New
3.
York Post said 12.
Yep, and that was just ridiculous. But before we get off...
But
of
you
all-
can trust me.
Yes, absolutely.
You can
have
trust-
never been wrong. Your words. You have never been wrong on a
I've been-
major story.
Not a major story. Some small
If
stuff.
I would have gone on the air with the arrest, I would have been wrong, and so I opted not to go with the news the other day because it happened when I was on the air that they reportedly had made an arrest, and so it was coming through. I saw it come through on the CNN breaking news, and I just for some reason I thought, it's very odd for me also to come out of Led Zeppelin or to come out of the Beatles and to. I did news for a long time in Cincinnati for 7 years and worked at a rock station, but we took news very seriously there. And we would always go with the big story about the rockers before we would go with the shootout at the liquor store down the street.
Right.
But we were a pretty big news department at WEBN in Cincinnati, and what we would do is, you just got to think it through before you just go pounce right on a story and just put anything on. Phone call.
Right now, I believe we've got somebody standing by on the Hammer and Nigel Show Coaches Tavern hotline.
Oh, my.
We're very fortunate now. Bob, the last time you were here, we didn't have cameras. We didn't have
is
multiple
big time.
sponsors.
No.
Now we've got a hotline, and we save it for very big, very important, very special guests. Good evening, caller. Who is this? Hello. It's
Hold on.
Mante Te'o's girlfriend. That's who's on the hotline right now.
Very nice.
Was that a planned joke? Did they laugh
Do we
at
have that
Were they
queued up,
laughing?
BS?
I'm going to give this to Mark. I'm going to have you take some so I can tweet it out too
Okay.
with that.
We'll try. BS will try to figure that out. We'll get the
last time we
hotline.
also had my brother on, and I know Bob may be aware of Brandon, my brother who plays for the Hurricanes now, and he called in, and that was so exciting. He was so
Yes.
thrilled.
We played highlights of that back on X103.
On X103, and that was so cool to be able to have him call in, and he's such a great kid. But when you asked him who's hotter, Cathedral girls or girls at
At the U.
at the U, University of Miami in Florida,
Is there even an issue there?
Well, wait a
here's
minute.
the
He
deal. Here's the
answered
deal.
so eloquently. What did he say? Did he say that's a tough one?
He said it's a tough one. He was playing his cards right because he was at home. And my argument was the Cathedral girls may have more money and a little bit more education. So those are the kind you want to stay with. The girls at the U may not have panties on right now.
Okay.
That's the difference.
Oh my gosh.
Try this one more time. Hello, Coach's Tavern Hotline, Hammer and Nigel Show. We got nothing?
You want me to ask a question?
So how long have you and Mr. Te'o been together? Okay, we got nothing. We'll try it again later.
Well, that was another story that was just so bizarre. I mean, how did you cover that?
I
don't
did.
Yeah.
I came out early and said he got hoaxed. I felt very early on that, I don't know the kid really, really well, but I felt early on that he was the victim, that he was just a dumb kid from...
I was going to say, he's got to be kind of a dummy, though. I mean,
yeah,
be honest.
But he's from a, very I mean, he's from a Mormon family in Hawaii.
That was bizarre.
That you know, I mean, he wasn't very worldly, and I've had people on Facebook like try do stuff like that.
Well, true,
so,
but you're not a badass linebacker at the biggest football factory in America.
No.
though,
But
at the
he's a
same time.
badass. You can stop at bat. He's a badass.
If you are a
Kind of a
badass
badass.
linebacker at Notre Dame or Florida
Kind of a
or
rock star.
you know somewhere,
Yeah.
you don't need an online girlfriend.
Yeah, if
you
you're-
should walk into any bar on campus and the panties should fall like rain in the
What
spring.
is you with you and the panties falling thing? It's a good thing I didn't wear any
I'm
tonight
just-
because I would be nervous.
Another run of shots over here, please.
Funny
We need
thing
some more
is,
Jameson.
I didn't either.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're a football stud, yeah, you're gonna have women coming at you all over the place. It's just what was so messed up about the whole scenario was the fact that you shouldn't have the wool pulled over your eyes that long, that easily.
But you know what? How many stupid things did you do when you were 21 years old?
68. 68 stupid things.
I passed out face
68.
down in a watery ditch trying to hitchhike to an after party, but I wasn't the badass linebacker at Notre Dame, though. I was a fat, drunken kid at Ball State. That's the difference.
I was on Rush Street in Chicago. I went
There
to
you
college in
go.
Chicago, so I did probably about 67 stupid things.
147.
Oh boy, you got us all
I
beat.
got a minor in self-medication at IU. I mean,
Oh,
they don't
boy.
offer that anymore.
Bob Kravitz, how are you feeling though? But
I feel
because
great.
How's
I
your
feel
health?
awesome.
Right.
I want to know.
I feel awesome.
Because I thought when you asked me, thank you so much, by the way, to fill in for Nigel, I thought, and when you were going to be here, it was like, I want to talk to him about the stress and how you deal with, the stress because of those deadlines that I've got as well, all at the same time. I was worried about you, and I remember reading you said the deadlines can be intense, and that's what is.
I don't think that's what caused.
But am I
the
right
problem.
that did you not say that somewhere? I've got
Yeah. I mean, I've got a lot of family
history in
family
the
history
heart.
with the heart. So
I've been worried
it just-
about you.
just-
So you
well,
were near
thank you.
death, and you came here, and we gave you shots and beer all night. So
Yeah,
that's
let's smoke a cigar next.
We're irresponsible.
Let's just
where's
throw
that
it all
all
into the
salt
wind.
cocktail at right now?
But how do you? So I know I've also seen you at the gym. We used to when I worked out.
I don't go there anymore.
I know. We used to go to the gym together. I used to see Bob at the gym.
She used to check me out.
I was like looking
Were
at
you
him.
that
when
guy
he was-
doing the curls, calling them guns, checking out the chicks?
I
No,
think we would see
I
each other
still-
in the food area eating.
Yeah,
We were eating.
Yeah, give
Am
me,
I right?
Yeah, give me the barbecue chicken quesadilla.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, the quesadillas there were so
They're
good at
really
Lifetime
good.
Fitness.
I have visions of Bob Kravitz at the gym being like Ron Burgundy in the office. Oh, it's a slow burn.
I don't even
Slow
think
burn.
Slow
it
burn.
was always on the way in or out.
I'm playing hockey once or twice a week, and playing
You look
a ton of
good.
golf.
You look
so,
good. Looks good.
So I feel phenomenal.
Your wife's giving you a thumbs up for looking good. She's
yeah,
beautiful,
there you
by
go.
the way.
And in no
Thank
way
you.
is that the shot talking over there.
No,
In no way.
No, but another shot, and I might get lucky. So
Yeah.
BS, let's try this one more time. Do we got somebody on the hotline? Yes or no? Hello, Hammer and Nigel show.
Gosh. It's my boyfriend. Get it? Don't have one. Oh.
All right. Well,
It's okay. Do you want to
Yeah.
call him on the phone? Remember we did
No,
that with Brandon? Or my dad.
We talked
called
to your
my-
old man,
my
didn't we?
dad, too. My father.
he
was-
had no idea what the hell we were
We
doing
could
or
call
what
him
was
right
going
now, and
on.
he would entertain you. Like my dad. My dad is. I said to him the other night. My daughter. It's my. Okay, here's my house. A fish named Silver Mist, a 12-year-old rescue lab Jagger, my 5-year-old daughter, and myself. So it's the 4 of us. And
Throw in a Korean prostitute, and it's the Hammer House.
does it have to go there? Really?
it always does.
And so, working full time and then some, I feel like, I pretty much straight through 7 or 8 hours, down in the studio.
Sure.
Pretty much, maybe 6 or 7 hours straight through. And then I do voice work for all the stations. I do customized liners, et cetera, et cetera. I hadn't been to the grocery. So I called my dad and I said, he called me and he goes, I'm on my way to the grocery to go get donuts. Dad's like brownies and donuts. And I said, we're out of fruit. Sally wants fruit. Can you get us just some of those little cups of fruit, pineapple, watermelon. Luckily, fortunately, my daughter's very much into eating healthy and likes donuts as well. And Sally goes, can you tell Buddy, she calls him Buddy, Grandpa, but he doesn't want to be called Grandpa, so it's Buddy, to get Hershey bars for me too. So I said, get her 1 Hershey bar at the checkout line and just get us a couple cups, the individual pre-cut, watermelon and what have
Sure.
you. He comes over with a party plate of fruit already cut, like the biggest, like the ones that if you're, in a staff meeting and you go, we'll take care of getting you something to eat.
The hairy buffalo kind.
I
not-
mean, everything, grapes
Right.
and strawberries and everything. this. I mean, is you know.
That's what grandfathers do, man.
He's wonderful.
I'm looking forward to that.
And then a 6-pack, if you will, of Hershey candy bars.
No,
so now
Sixer.
a 6-pack.
There you go.
So my dad, he's a great man. He really is. So I love him very much. He's a good man, good dad.
Everybody healthy? Everybody good?
Everybody's doing okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm under stress. That's like I said. I was looking forward to talking to Bob about how he deals with it. And I got a lot going on.
I drink.
Okay, can I get another shot?
Yeah.
Because if
Marcus,
that's what
can
it
we
takes.
can we get another round?
Hey, I got a limo.
Yeah.
What do I care?
Wait a minute. He got the whole timeout.
I got the limo.
Yeah.
You got the limo?
The neighbors are looking out their windows, going, "What the hell is
Was
he
it
dead?"
the chicken? Where's the limo?
You're a co-host. You get treated like shit, Laura. This
I
is how we
know.
roll.
Trust me, I know this.
It's just like having Nigel here. She came in a little bit late, bitched
Does
about
he
a few
shove it?
things.
I didn't bitch. I said my daughter lost
It
her
doesn't
tooth.
look like
That's
she just went
awesome.
fishing,
Isn't
though.
That's true.
the loss of the tooth was a huge. That was. I mean, when it
Yeah.
was loose, it was. I about cried. Not because I was like I'm anti-dental or anything, but
You're an anti-dentite.
An anti-dentite.
I'm
You beat me to it, you son of a bitch. You beat me to it.
God damn it!
And-
It's
but unlike-
everywhere.
I mean,
BS was absolutely right, though. Unlike Big Nige, you look like you didn't come home from a fishing trip. You look like $1 million damn
oh,
dollars
that's so
tonight, Laura. You
sweet.
look
Thank
phenomenal.
you. Thank you. And you
We're
know
chatting
what?
with Laura Steele, by the
Thank
way,
you.
of 295. Bob Kravitz of the Indy Star. We've got your information posted on our website at hammerandnigel.com. Let's talk a little bit about the Colts schedule. It came out tonight. We'll try this
no,
one more
we
second.
don't. We do have some.
BS keeps telling me we have another call.
I don't know. I don't know if I believe it.
We've tried this 3 times, and we've failed miserably
So
3
the
times.
4th time will be a. Hello, somebody's here. I hear somebody.
Hey, we've got somebody on
Who
the
is
Coach's
it?
Tavern Hotline. Is this Captain Fatass?
Hey, Bob, tell me how beautiful Laura Steele looks.
Laura looks fantastic.
Wait, who is
Looks
that?
awesome.
This is Big Nige calling in live from Florida.
Hi, Nigel.
Hey, Nigel, how are you, man?
I am
drinking
I'm
alone on the
calling in
beach.
from the Gulf Coast of Florida here. It's a beautiful night, stars, 70 degrees. I'm here at the beach drinking by myself, and it is gorgeous.
That is
I'm
so damn
really sorry
sad
I
for
can't
you.
Be there. One of my favorite columnists, well, my favorite columnist, Bob Kravitz, and the crush of my life, Laura
The
Steele.
crush of your life.
I can't. Hammer, I've told you this on the air. I've told you this off the air. Laura Steele is like one of the greatest regrets of my life. When I was 23 years old,
You had a chance to hit that, didn't you?
Yeah, well, 23 years old, broadcasting at the Rock Lobster in Broad Ripple.
I remember.
Laura Steele comes up to me and says, "Hey, I listen to you all the time."
I
And
did.
at that point, you guys were on 93.1 WNAP.
The buzzard, yep.
And I'm like sitting there, drooling. Laura Steele was talking to me. I was like a nighttime DJ on X103. and
But I listened
Laura
to you. I remember
Steele
being a
is-
huge fan because I remember that's when I did work out and I would take walks and I'd have my headset and I remember
Oh,
listening
just
to
hook up already, for
No,
God's
he's
sake.
married. I'm
Oh,
not
he is
talking-
married?
No, he's
Okay, all right,
married.
all
No, no.
Nigel
yeah.
is busy right now being Father of the Year, not hanging out with his family and speaking to us on the phone
And
by
talking about
himself.
talking to drinking and
Talking
talking
about
hanging out
hooking up
with
with another chick when he was in his 20s.
No,
Yeah, well, listen,
you're
I
talented.
mean, you know, one of my here, Hammer, and I told you this last summer. My regret was realized when Laura Steele showed up with Graham Rahal in this this tank. Do you remember the tank top Laura was wearing?
Yeah, I'm
Hammer?
wearing one tonight too,
Yeah,
which
she's
I
get-
thought was like a red cross, but it looks like it might just be a cross.
Nigel, I'm going to take a
res-
picture of Laura Steele's rack, and I'm going to text it to you
I'm
here right
representing
now.
the Methodist side of me and
I was
not the
gonna
Jewish.
say,
I know I'm Sephardi.
you're
you know,
half Jewish, aren't
my
you?
dad is. Oh my gosh, you're right up in my face with that camera. Ah!
That's not going to your face, honey.
Oh, it
no.
wasn't my face. Okay.
That's not your face, honey.
No, I'm representing the mom side, which
Okay.
technically the Jews think that that's the only. I mean, yeah, but
Yeah.
so I say the
Yeah.
Jews. I can say that because I'm a half a Jew. The Jews. Nobody else can say it like that.
We're
You
not
know, you know
Jews.
that, Bob.
Hey,
Well,
I'm
I know,
an
I know
interfaith.
Graham Rahal
You
is
are
joining
too.
us
Yeah,
for
my wife's
our,
Catholic.
month of May
Oh.
party
Does
next
my
month
wife look
at
Jewish to
Fast
you?
Time.
Are you kidding me?
I hope Laura and Bob can join us. But Laura, I'm
Big
just
Nige
very
is-
nostalgic every time Laura Steele. I'm very nostalgic every time Laura Steele joins us on the show because it's one of the best regrets of my life.
Big
Well,
Nige, you're
there's
cutting
new.
out just a
No,
little
I
bit.
hear him. He said, "Laura Steele, I love you. You're great," and he's going to be my agent now. And no,
it's
is
a
that what
little creepy.
Yeah.
No, it's not creepy. It was cutting out, and so
Yeah,
whatever was
okay.
creepy got.
Can you hear me?
I can
There
hear
we
you
go,
now.
there
Can
we
you hear
go.
me now? You know, Nigel,
Well,
thank
I'm
you
just
so
saying-
much. Thank
I
you.
was just saying one of the greatest regrets of my life is not attempting to have Laura Steele out of the date.
Not having me where and how?
I think his wife just walked in the room.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
That conversation's over.
See ya.
You tell
Nigel,
her
if
I
you can
said
still
hi.
hear me, I just sent you a photo of
Yeah.
Laura Steele's rack in a tank top tonight. So there you go.
There's a
I-
tad, yeah.
I'm gonna repost.
The
Thank you,
John
guys.
Lennon shirt. You remember the John Lennon shirt, and it was a night with Graham
I love
Rahal. Yeah, I love that
Yeah, I
shirt.
love the John Lennon shirt. That's an amazing shirt. Hey, I have a question for Bob real quick.
Yes,
before I
sir.
go.
Now he wants to do you.
Bob,
Am I one of the great regrets of your life?
Bob, when's the last time you've watched a Colts game from your couch?
Let's see. Probably the last heart attack.
Oh. How many have there been? My goodness.
2.
Oh.
Let me,
He's on that
let me-
Mellencamp diet where he's working on 5
No, I
before
can- I
he's
can
really
tell you what,
affected.
2 years ago, 2 years ago, when the Colts were just god awful, and I stayed home to cover IU Kentucky on Saturday, which turned out to be a pretty good game. That was the Watford
Christian
game.
Watford
that was
shot.
great.
Yeah, and I watched them play either Baltimore or New England from my couch, and it was very relaxing. I didn't think at all
Yeah, I
about
was
what the
gonna
hell I
say,
was going to
is
write
it-
about.
Is it disappointing when you have to watch from your couch? as
Yes,
opposed to
because I
in
want to
person?
be there.
You wanna be there?
I want to be there, and I want to write something off of everything.
There is such passion, I think, in what we do, and there's
Yeah.
such passion when we,
Oh,
when-
yeah.
I mean, I think we're very blessed. We're very lucky that you're covering something that you have a passion for, and that would be sports. I love rock. I love
And I
sports as
drink a
well.
lot,
and
so,
he drinks,
yeah.
and that's why we're doing this this podcast in a bar. But I mean, there's a passion for it, and you want to be there.
I wanna be there.
I went to see Bob Seger, Nigel. I know you're probably going to make fun of the
Oh, I
Bob
love
Seger.
Bob
No,
Seger.
he was. I went to the United Center, and
Oh, my God.
I was 2 Saturdays ago, and it was spring break, and I took my daughter to the American Girl doll store, and I didn't leave her in a hotel
Chicago?
room. No, yeah, I went to Chicago to United Center, and Bob
we
was
used
playing.
to do that.
Yep, the American Girl doll. How old's your daughter?
Expensive.
It's so expensive. I mean, and she wants every outfit for then. The matching outfit too. So then
Oh,
you've
yeah.
got like your daughter and then the little mini me with the doll. But so we actually went with the sitter, and so we had. A sitter with us and another classmate of my daughter. So I went to go see Seeger at the United Center, and it was one of the most amazing shows. And I remember just thinking, this is just so great. I love being here, feeling this music, just probably like you do at a great, amazing sports event, whether it be Butler in the Final Four, here in Indianapolis.
still the greatest thing
Still
I've
the
ever
greatest
covered.
thing ever. I was going to ask you if that had to be the greatest
Great.
thing. The Butler Final Four and that whole weekend, everything about it was great. But Seeger, I remember saying to someone who was near me, I said, you're a Seeger fan, obviously. I said, but he had a Bulls shirt on, and this is at the United Center. There's Seeger up on stage, and everybody, it was packed. It was sold out, if I'm not mistaken. I said, this is like the Bulls winning, and he goes, I'm a Bulls fan, and this is better than the Bulls winning.
Boom.
That's how great this Seeger show was. Alto Reed on the sax, and just this music, and where you're so passionate, you want to live it, you want to breathe it, you want to eat it, you want to feel it, you want to
And if
hear
you
it.
breathe it, you get the contact high of all the weed.
My first concert, Electric Light Orchestra at Market Square Arena.
Yellow.
I was 13 years old. I'm like, what is that smell? And the rest, as they say.
That's the smell of happy. That's what that is
yeah.
right there.
So I mean, that's just what it's about. We're very fortunate to be able to cover what we love and do it professionally. Yes,
Laura, can you hear me?
I can hear you, sweetie.
I've been on a Bob Seger kick for about 16 months. I listen to nothing but his live stuff. 9 to Night is unbelievable.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's a great live CD. Do you when you saw him at the United Center? I've never seen him live.
Oh.
When he sings Against the Wind and Ramblin' Gamblin' Man.
Like a
and-
Rock
and-
got me. Like a Rock. And it's not the commercial. I liked Like a Rock before. But it's music for us. It's music. It's anybody. He's one of the best American rock songwriters ever, performers. And you know what I love about him, Nigel? Sincere. He's up on stage with the most sincerity of any artist. Paul McCartney's pretty sincere when he's up on stage, which is pretty big after going through Beatlemania and being, huge star and coming to Baker's Life Fieldhouse, which is going to be great.
You gonna get me tickets?
Am I going to get you tickets? Wait a minute. You can get tickets to Baker's Life Fieldhouse. Just use your media pass and say, I'm here to talk to
This
Paul
is where you
about
barter with him. Then he has to give you tickets to the
for the
Peyton
playoff.
Manning game coming
No,
back to
I want to go
Indianapolis.
see the Pacers in Atlanta. I want to see a playoff game.
Oh,
so
we'll take care of
Well,
that.
yeah. See, now we're gonna wheel and deal. But
Me and the wife will go see McCartney.
it was really great.
You'll get
and
to go see the Hawks in Game 2. How about that? That's a fair trade.
what night is that? The second tooth that's loose may come out that night. I don't know if I can make it out.
Once
but-
it starts, it doesn't stop for a while.
Hey, Nigel, did you hear my daughter lost her first tooth tonight?
Oh, you're kidding.
No, it was so huge.
Bob
that's
Kravitz
great.
knocked it out.
No, he didn't. She's not here at the bar. She's 5 years old.
My son drank his first beer tonight. It's
Hey!
ironic.
Whoa, wait a minute. How old is he? How old is he?
He's 15.
That's about right. That's about right.
About right.
My daughter tried to take a sip
No,
of my
guys,
beer.
Hey, look,
That's the age in Florida.
I'm really sorry I can't be there. Bob, you're one of my all-time favorites.
He's great.
And
Thank you,
Laura,
man.
You're one of my.
I love you.
Laura Steele's one of my all-time regrets in my life.
He said that 5 times. We have more shots coming.
Okay, cut him off, BS. We
No, no, no,
understand
wait.
you want to bone Laura Steele.
Wait
We
a
got
minute,
it.
wait a minute.
Have fun on your vacation.
love you.
Kiss your wife.
I
Tell
love
your
your
kids I
wife,
said
too.
hello. We will talk to you next week.
I'm taking the limo home with
See ya,
Bob
Nigel.
Kravitz and his wife.
Bye-bye.
Oh, you guys
We'll
have
take
fun,
you
all
home.
right.
Bye,
You guys-
Nigel. Thank you
See
for
ya.
letting me fill in for you. I do really thank you so much. When you asked, I was honored, and and this is this is definitely a unique situation to be in.
This is the way radio kind of used to be. This is what
I
the fun
miss
stuff.
it so much. I do. I love my job, but I knew when you asked, I'm like, I can't wait to. I mean, I'm in a studio, and I work in a studio that's pretty dark. It's like the radio dungeon. Very blessed to be working. I don't want to complain at all because there are a lot of people on the outside looking in your field as well. A lot of solid.
I've
it.
done the radio gig and lost a job, so
And I've been
I
there
know
too.
all about that.
It was
All
a
right.
format flip at Emmis.
I tell you what,
Yeah.
we'll get into some dirt here. We'll talk some radio. We'll
Do we
talk
have
some Colts
commercials?
schedule. Hell no, we don't have
Oh, I
commercials.
didn't think so.
We'll
Cheers.
talk some playoff Pacers. But first, Bob Kravitz, what are we drinking to tonight, my friend?
What side of town do you live on? Can I take the limo home with you tomorrow?
Yeah, Fisher's. You coming up?
Fisher's.
Yeah. Hey, get my wife one too, eh?
She's got one.
She's got one.
Oh, you know it's better than that, Bob.
Good.
Come on now.
Oh, good. Lucky Bob tonight.
All right, we're drinking to Bob Kravitz's wife. How about that? Boom.
Ah, there you go.
And there I go again. Now, what I'll do for every night.
What
we
are you
had a-
drinking there, Steele?
I have no idea what he got. I'm just drinking it. But
Looks
remember
good.
the last time we had a police officer, and I said for everything that I drink, and I've had 1 beer, 2 shots, I'll have 3 glasses of water before I hit the road.
Will you?
Absolutely.
I'll have a burrito.
You'll have a burrito. Well, that'll do it too.
Because
That would
your
soak
head-
up the alcohol.
That was
Well
the
played.
magical Jameson again. You know.
Oh, is that?
Jameson.
Thank you very much.
Oh,
All
What
right,
was
we
in
got
here?
about 15 minutes left here, and I got a lot of stuff I want to get to. So we're
right.
gonna do a little rapid fire.
Okay.
We
Okay.
were talking before the show started about how much of a prick Bill Polian was.
Yes, he was.
Give me a good Polian story if you can, Bob.
Oh, let's see.
Something that
My
really
voice
sums up
cracked.
his douchebag aura.
Well, this morning he goes on Mike and Mike, and they're talking about the NBA late season games and how a lot of teams are tanking, and he says you got to play every game to win. And Mike Greenberg doesn't say anything, doesn't challenge him, doesn't say, "Do you remember 2009? You freaking moron."
Well, of course.
I
he's
mean,
not.
good God. You know, they pulled the starters when they were up 15-10 against the Jets when they had a chance to get a perfect season. Doesn't he has no self-awareness. It was just a compilation of things. He would always blow off the local media. He had no respect for the local fans.
What was his deal with that? Why would he always go swing off the nuts of like Schefter or Mort or somebody like that?
Because they would jack him off. That's why.
Okay.
Because yeah, I mean they would just
Kiss his butt.
repeat. They would kiss his ass.
Yeah.
They would
Or
just.
as you said, yeah.
Yeah.
I
well,
won't repeat that.
Okay.
but
Well,
it's-
I won't either because it's probably not a good thing to say on
No,
radio.
here everything's okay.
Oh,
right?
it's okay. But they would just repeat whatever, he wanted out there. And look, where are you going to get more attention from the national media, from Adam Schefter and Peter King, or from the local schmucks?
By the way, BS, our promo for this show is going to be Bob Kravitz talks about jacking off Bill Polian.
No.
Love it. Laura, in the rock and roll industry, you've had the privilege of speaking with some of the movers, some of the shakers. Who's been the biggest a-hole, douchebag, prima donna that you've ever had the privilege of sticking a mic in front of? There had to be one.
I have
that
no
sticks
problem.
out.
I don't know if Brad knows this, but welcome to Margaritaville, everybody. Jimmy Buffett.
Buffett.
Oh, yeah.
Could not have been any more inconsiderate.
Oh, yeah.
And it was Cincinnati, and Cincinnati is a huge Buffett city. And Atlanta, Cincinnati, there are a few. Well, everybody loves to go to Margaritaville. They put the styrofoam, parrots on their heads, and the businessmen who are usually in suits decide to get ridiculous and be idiots. Listen, I respect musicians. He's got an amazing band, and anybody who goes in and has a great night of music and enjoys music, I respect that as well. If I don't like country music, I don't like country music. If I don't like Jimmy Buffett music, but I interviewed him, and he was not kind at all.
What did he do? What was he saying?
Just
real short,
just
or?
not. I don't know. There was an air about him, but one thing I try to always remember, and I think that we should all remember this in life. And sometimes I have a hard time because I believe in kindness and I believe in being nice all the time. But you never know what's going on in someone's world. He could have had a crappy day. He could have found out that his mother wasn't well. He could have found out that, you don't know what's going on with someone. But I was working for Fox TV, the affiliate in Cincinnati. So this was for TV. And I was on the radio in Cincinnati, but I also did entertainment news. So it was for television. And there was just an air about him that couldn't have been any more inconsiderate. I also had a friend who loved him, met him at a bar in Key West, or went up and said, hello, I'm your biggest fan. She was going through treatments, had been diagnosed with cancer, and he was a jerk to her. So I'm like, that's it, I'm out. I'm out.
How do you be a jerk to somebody with cancer? I mean,
he didn't
really?
know. He didn't know. She just went up and said, I'm a fan of yours, and he just, didn't want to be bothered by it. And then you never know with these guys, stars and athletes, it's tiring.
There
it's
is never
tiring.
an excuse to be a dick.
Yeah,
There is never, I don't care if you've had a rough day, there's never an excuse to be a dick.
I try to remember that all the time.
Especially if you're a public figure.
Yeah, I agree. I think
Which brings us to Marvin Harrison. Didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
No,
but
you're fine.
You mentioned earlier that you always triple check with your sources, including police officers sometimes. I happen to have a cousin who's a great and phenomenal police officer in downtown Indianapolis, one of the higher ups. And the stories we would get about Marvin Harrison and his posse going out for nights on the town, staggering.
Nice or not
nice
nice
at all. I mean,
like,
this
do
guy,
you know who I am is my least favorite thing.
Never
Do you
to
know who I am?
me. And again, this is
Marvin
just my
was
opinion.
an odd duck, very odd
Fraud.
duck.
Total fraud.
Yeah, I mean, what people think of him and who he is, I mean, there's such a
It's
separation.
almost the Kirby Puckett thing going on. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
I mean, people thought that because he didn't celebrate like Terrell Owens after a touchdown, that he was this wonderful, very quiet, considerate guy.
He was just thinking about the next ass he was going to kick in Broad Ripple. That's
Right.
all.
I did not know this. This is
He was
news to me.
not. I mean, his teammates. It's funny. His teammates who were with him for 10 years never knew him.
Yeah.
He was a complete mystery
I
to
had
them.
no idea. I did not.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know that about Buffett. And again, he could be a great guy. It could have been just that day. Again, you don't know. He could have been tired. Maybe didn't feel well. But
Don't care.
I know he was very inconsiderate to the photographer. So I had a photographer there, and he was just something about the angle and just being completely high maintenance. And I'm like, really?
Well, the mark of a person is how you act when people aren't watching.
Right.
How you treat people who don't quote unquote matter.
Yeah.
Whether it's the waitress, or the photographer, or the schmuck reporter from the Podunk Times. That's where you can tell what a person is really about.
All right. Let's go on to the Pacers in the playoffs.
Woo!
Backed into the year, so to speak. Not a real
good.
strong
Not
finish
good. No,
to the end of the year.
Hold on, I gotta say, I saw your tweet. The Pacers game doesn't even deserve a tweet.
Yeah.
I saw Kravitz. I saw that come through last night. I'm like, damn.
Tweetless.
But you know what? Suck it now and do well in the playoffs. Do you believe in that?
I think
you're worried about that.
Look, I'm a little worried about this team. I think they're going to win the series in 6 games. I think they'll find their mojo. I don't think Atlanta's very good. They've got a coach in the hot seat. They've got 12 guys who are going into free agency in the final year of their contract. But I think they're going to struggle with Atlanta. I really do. This team has lost something in the last 6 games. And I don't think you just flip a switch and turn it back on just like that. I think
What's happened to Paul George? Right around the All-Star break, this guy looked like the breakout superstar.
Hot.
Our good buddy Mark Boyle would always talk about how one day this is going to be a guy better than Reggie. He still stands by that, but
I think
we're
he
not
got tired.
seeing that.
I think fatigue. I think one of the problems with having a bad bench is that you have to play your starters a lot of minutes. I think he hit the wall. I think he hit the wall. This is the first year where he's been asked to be the primary scorer and be the primary, creator. And I think he has absolutely hit the wall. Now, whether he can recover and do it in the playoffs is that's the story. That's the column I'm going to write for Sunday is, can Paul George find his mojo?
See, I think he can't. I always believe. I always believe that you never. I mean, it's been rough the last couple games, and they lost by 10. Was it last night or the night before?
Yeah, well, last night didn't really count.
It didn't matter.
Count.
And the Boston game got canceled for obvious. The Celtics
They played
game.
all backups last night.
Yeah, I
but
know,
before that, they had lost 4 or 5.
Yeah, they were down by. I mean, they've
been down
taken
by
some
20.
26 games.
Yeah,
in
I
a
was
row.
at the game. I was at the game last Friday. Was it last Friday night? Yeah, the game last Friday night, and boy, it was just.
They're not playing very good defense right now.
But you don't think that? I don't know. I feel.
I think if they
girl
find
glass half
themselves, they can get to the Eastern Conference Finals against the Miami Heat.
Nobody has anything for the Heat, correct?
Nobody.
How about the loss of Kobe? I mean, that was huge news. I know that's not in our wheelhouse.
It's not in their conference, but
I know, but I mean, just in general, that was such big news.
That team is going down in the first round. They're going to lose to San Antonio.
Just because of Kobe. The Spurs are.
I think they would have lost with Kobe anyway. Running out of time, so let's talk about the NFL schedule that came out. The Colts will open up the season against the Oakland Raiders, September 8th. Game.
W.
And then you look at the marquee games on the schedule, a couple primetime appearances. Haven't had these in a while if you're a Colts fan. The one everybody's talking about, October 20th, quite possibly the biggest football game in Indianapolis outside of the AFC Championship game with the Patriots. Peyton Manning comes back, 8:30, October 20th, NBC, night game. The Denver Broncos come to town.
You think he'll want to put 45 on him? You think? I mean, Peyton doesn't strike me as. I mean, look, Peyton. He wants a piece of the Colts. I mean, he says all the right things. He's gonna say all the right things, but bottom line is they cut him.
Yeah.
Bottom line is they cut him. I think they did absolutely the right thing, but he's going to want to put some serious hurting on them.
And keep in mind, the Colts are going to be coming off of a short week because they've got the Monday night game the week before. They're at San Diego.
With a long trip.
On Monday night against the Chargers on the 14th. And then the next week, it's Denver. 4 primetime games for the Colts this year. October 14th.
I'm just happy about really nice cities that I'm traveling to.
There you go.
It's all about me.
It's all about you. You've deserved it,
I'm going to San Diego.
Where do you stay? Do they hook you up?
I'm staying in the Marriott. Wherever I am, I'm in a Marriott. I need the Marriott points.
And you get to spend December 8th
I want to take my wife to
Ohio.
Vegas. Are you kidding me?
I want to go to Vegas. We're going to Vegas.
The Hammer and Nigel show is taking a group trip to Vegas.
I know you always do, though, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. Guess what day I will be in Denver for a layover?
Yeah, we heard this already.
October 20th.
He's being repetitive. I love that.
I am so pissed off that I can't be here in Indianapolis. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm never going to get mad about going to Vegas. But damn it, of all Colts games to miss, the one where Jesus comes back as the resurrection to Indianapolis.
Well, here's the funny thing. You booked your trip last week. This week they announced the schedule, and you're screwed.
That happens a lot. Have you ever had conflicts when you've got something going on and you've take away?
All the
my
time.
gosh, it's so stressful. And when you're in this business, and you know this, you know this, Hammer.
I'm looking at the Colts schedule here, and Bob was like, "Oh, I get to go to great cities. Have fun December 8th at Cincinnati. Bob.
Oh, Lord
Have
have
fun
mercy.
December 22nd at Kansas City, Bob.
Oh,
and
yeah,
you're
but we
outs-
got
yeah.
Gates Barbecue, so it's all good.
Paul Brown Stadium, here you come.
Paul,
But the
PB.
rest of the games, at San Francisco.
At San Francisco,
at San
thank you. At
Diego,
San Diego.
And then the divisional games.
At Houston's always good.
Yeah.
So are you going to be out at the track as well for the month of May?
I'll be out there.
I remember that's the first time I met you.
A lot depends on what's going on with the Pacers.
Yeah, that's true. That always blends together
if
the playoffs.
if they bleed together, and if the Pacers are playing well and get to the second round, it's going to be hard to get out to the track. But, I'll tell you what. I've really learned to enjoy the month of May.
It's great.
I did not grow up with it. Grew up in New York and Chicago.
I remember when you first came, and that's where we met. We met in the media center, and I remember saying hello to you, and I knew that you worked for the Indy Star, and you were brand new.
Brand new.
Brand new, and we met each other in the media center. I'm like, I read your column, and I said hello to you, and I remember it was one of those things where it was. I want to say it could have been Formula One.
Oh,
Was that? And that was a pain. No, it was something where it was NASCAR.
It was NASCAR.
And it was a pain in the butt. And you and I were both trying to get into the media area where they were doing the wrap up of the race or something, and we couldn't.
Right.
Neither of us
Couldn't
could
even
get in.
get
I'm
in.
like, wait a minute, what?
One of my first columns, I think it was actually, I wrote an introductory column, and then I also wrote a column about NASCAR, and I wrote, here is everything I know about motorsports. I'm going to
I
be
remember
honest,
that. I remember
honest
that.
with you people.
He was very upfront.
And
You knew nothing.
I left about 3 paragraphs blank.
I know, he knew
Blank
nothing.
space.
And
I know nothing.
And the big story, though, in the month of May, as we come into the month of May, and this is a really, really cool story. And I know Kirk Cavan is obviously very, he's the race guy.
He
for
actually knows what he's talking about.
But Connor Daly, Derek
Yeah.
Daly's son. I mean, what a great kid, and we followed him. I'm really excited about
Connor
that.
Daly may be at the Hammer and Nigel race party May 8th at Fast Times.
Hold on,
Indoor
hold on.
Karting.
Am I invited?
Yes, you are. Graham Rahal will be there.
Oh well, I'm there.
Hammer
I
and
mean,
Nigel will be
Graham and I
there.
bonded. Remember?
You did. You and Graham have a thing.
We don't have a.
You have a thing.
No, we don't have a thing.
I'm starting the rumor that you were sleeping with Graham
No, I
Rahal.
have not
Starting
slept. There's another. I didn't sleep
No,
with him.
no, no, no. I'm sleeping with Graham Rahal.
You're
okay?
sleeping with Bobby Rahal. Come on.
Yeah, he's my age.
Oh,
But
well.
we're going to do it up at our good friends at Fast Times Indoor Karting. There'll be free go-karts. We'll have an adult section with beverages and some music, and we'll have some fun.
There's a lot of stuff going on in the month of May. I
Yeah.
mean, just working for the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. There's so many great things coming up, and I look forward. You will be out. You'll be.
I'll be out there.
Yeah, there's
I'll be
so.
out
I
there.
mean, I think I'm going into my 10th year working for IMS, and
Wow.
so I think
A
it's either
decade
at night.
working at that place is just,
I'm so blessed.
phenomenal.
They're really great. It's just I walk into that place and I still to this day, and I don't know about you. Maybe it's because I'm from here and I grew up 10 minutes away. I know we're wrapping up, but I grew up 10 minutes away. I went to Pike High School, so I'm a West Side girl, and I still drive, underneath that tunnel and underneath, and
It's
I
the
still.
goal.
It is just it's Goosebump City. I love it. I know it's technically Speedway, but I call it Goosebump City.
I've totally
love
gotten into it. I've totally gotten
It
into
is
it.
just
It's a
just
blast. It is.
It really is.
pulls you in.
You've met Letterman, right? You've talked to Dave?
No, actually, Dave blew me off. I think I've told you that before. Dave, oh boy, I don't want. He knows the story.
I was gonna say you asked me to pull a picture that we had.
We did this. Brad's got the story on this, and I felt very bad about it. And I'm
Would you
not.
rather have Brad tell the story
yeah,
than you?
I'm gonna zip it.
Basically, Laura had this wonderful picture of Dave and the intern. Well, not the intern, but the
one that was
the mistress.
The mistress when after he had a baby with the woman.
And we posted it to Q for about 30 minutes before her conscience got to her, and she
I
said,
freaked
"Pull it."
out because I really love my job there, and I didn't want to do anything. But it was the woman who, he had.
But it was a picture that nobody had.
Nobody had, but it was on my camera.
Stephanie, whatever the hell.
Whatever
her
the
name
girl,
was.
the girl who was always giving away the gift certificates for
Right.
Yeah, his
a
little
slab of
sidekick.
meat, and that's who he was involved with. And
You need a sidekick.
well, we're it tonight.
Yeah,
What do we call
pretty much
Black
it.
Marcus?
Yeah.
I mean,
Nigel, but he's in Florida.
I have 2 questions, just real quick about
Okay.
sports.
There's no such thing as a quick question from you.
Oh,
Why
go
can't we
ahead,
go an
man,
extra
come
hour?
on.
I'm good. She lost her tooth. She's waiting
Now-
for the
now-
tooth fairy.
Now, Bob, this is 2 events as far as the spring
I'm
and
gonna go to
everything.
the bar.
Stop it.
I'll take a Stella.
First off, do you have any advice for anyone that is going to the Indy 500 that's never been before, as far as the experience? And then this other question is,
Drink heavily.
Wear sunscreen.
yeah. And then the other question is, what do you think it will take to get the magic back for the Pacers, as far as as a fan base?
Well, that's a good question.
No,
there
they're-
you go.
I think they needed one more really long playoff run. I think it takes, you look around the NBA, it takes 5 years to rebuild a season ticket buying base.
Yeah.
And their season ticket buying base is really low right now.
Oh, yeah. I
And-
actually work at the stadium. Yeah, I can attest to that.
Yeah. I mean, people just don't show. I think they need to excite people, get to the second round at the very least. If they can get to the third round, Eastern Conference Finals, I think that would be enormous for them. But they need another run, because after the brawl, and it wasn't the year after the brawl, it was 2 years after the
Yeah.
brawl.
Yeah.
That's when things went way down, and their season ticket base was 7,000.
And then they brought in a bunch of good guys,
Good
but
guys
they all
who couldn't
sucked.
play.
Yeah, Troy
Troy
Murphy.
Murphy, Mike Dunleavy, they couldn't play dead. And they couldn't. And that's when you lost your season ticket base. It takes 5 to 6 years of success,
Yeah.
sustained success, which is hard for me to say after a few shots.
Look, I haven't finished mine. I've only done one. I'm such a wuss. I have to say, though, I went to the game last Friday night, and it was so much fun. The games are fun. I like the NBA. I am a big fan, and I grew up going to the games in the ABA
Market
days.
Square?
I used to.
Yeah.
No, we go
Pepsi?
back to the Pepsi Coliseum. We're
Coliseum.
talking Darnell Hellman, Mel Daniels, George McGinnis,
Okay.
all
Bob
lived in
Dennis.
my
Raja.
neighborhood.
The Roger Brown.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
that-
go way back,
like they-
family-wise, and I love basketball, and maybe it's being an Indiana girl, but I really feel that the games at Bankers Life Fieldhouse are just a whole lot of fun. They're vibrant.
They need to make one more big run. And then
Okay,
I
you know what? We haven't
think
started it
people-
yet, so
No.
we'll see what happens. I have faith.
All right, we're going to end the night with this. Bob, the first time you came on our show, the greatest story you told us was about how you got hate mail of somebody bad-mouthing you because you were Jewish.
Yeah.
What else would you expect from a guy that killed Christ?
Killed Christ. Yeah.
So,
That was a beauty.
Since
Yeah.
that day-
Yeah, I'm sitting next to a woman with a cross on her chest.
But that's the Methodist side of me, and
okay.
the Sephardic side, the Spanish Jew side is.
Laura, I want to get you in the mix on this too, because I'm sure you get some. Best piece of hate mail you've gotten lately. Bob, we'll start with you, because I'm sure it's phenomenal.
Oh, gosh. You're
That's
putting a lot of pressure
question.
on me, man.
That's a great question, though. That's great.
Wow.
You want to think about it? I got one.
Go ahead. Go right ahead.
Well, I get them because I'm based here, and I get them from other cities because what I do is I work for Clear Channel, and I'm a multi-market talent, and so I got one from somebody in Nashville, and to me, rock sees no state lines. I love, times have changed and things are different now, but I am doing different cities now. And I got an email from a guy that was just very upset about the fact that I wasn't in Nashville. And just, evil, like this evil email.
What'd he say?
Just, I can't believe you're not here. I heard you on Q95 in Indianapolis. How can you be there? And how can you be... The one thing that really threw people off was when I was on in Cincinnati and Indianapolis. And so people in Batesville would flip out. How are you there in Cincinnati and Indianapolis at the same time? So people that were in the city...
You
that
people just make caskets and don't worry about it.
I get that. The Batesville Casket Company. Nice.
There you go.
But I get, people who are, but it's very rare that I get, I don't get it. I just don't get it too much. I am very,
That's because I don't work there
You're
anymore.
beloved.
yeah. Well, I know. I try to be kind. It does to me. It's just about the music. It's about rock. But I got one about a month ago, and it really upset me. And I wrote him back, and I said, "Look, I'm a national. I'm on the air nationally. I'm also on in Texas, and this is the way it is. And I love what I do, and I love the music. And hopefully, if you want to hear something." And the guy emailed back. I said, "Let me know what I can play for you." And the guy emailed back, and he said, "I'd love to hear." I don't know what he wrote, but I do a request hour in Nashville, and I played it for him, and I've won him
That's
over.
awful nice of you. See, on the
was
Hammer
gonna
and
say.
Nigel show, we tell people to go to hell.
Go fuck themselves.
Yeah.
So now what's your
we're-
story?
Have you
Okay.
heard our X103 show?
Actually,
We told a
after-
listener to go to hell.
Shortly after I had my recent heart attack, some guy said, "Why don't you eat a T-bone and fucking die?"
Damn it, BS. Did you have to hit send on that?
Okay, beat. I just got totally beat on that.
Eat a
Yeah.
T-bone.
So what did
Eat
you
a
write?
T-bone and die.
Wow. And you ignored that.
What did you write better back?
See, I wrote
Nothing.
back.
You can't. You don't even respond.
See, I do.
to
I
haters.
kill him with I kill him with kindness.
Somebody
I'll
told
write back.
JMV to quit sending tweets when he's drunk.
Yeah, exactly. That weasel.
Do you miss doing radio at all, Bob?
Yeah, a little bit.
So we'll be back next week.
You got nothing to do.
Come on, your
Send,
wife.
send a
the Hammer and
limo.
Laura
She's happy here.
Show.
I'm very comfortable here with you. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you.
Oh,
when
thank you for
said
coming,
that-
by the way.
Absolutely my pleasure. And when you said Bob Kravitz, I'm like, you've
Oh,
always been
thank
very
you.
gracious and kind. I look forward to seeing you in the month of May. It's going
Absolutely.
to be a great month in the month of May, and hopefully the Pacers. I am hoping that the bad stuff is behind them, and all the games where they're down by 20 are behind them, and they're talking about it
If
now.
they play the way they played the first 75 games,
Strong
they
players on
they
it.
will be in the Eastern Conference Finals. They
A
just
couple
have
of weeks ago, they
they
swept
just,
a Western
They
trip.
just have to find themselves. I mean, it's simple as that.
Here's what
And they can
sports-
do
I
it.
feel like
You
it was
never-
too long ago that they were doing 20-point blowouts every single night.
Yeah, and you never know. In the world of sports, you never know. Surprises happen.
You'll never know.
You'll never know. You never ever know. And you could just go, hey, they were they were sucking their final
They're
regular
sucking
season
wind at the end.
into the end, and now look at they came back, and so you just never know. I hope that for them. I'm a huge
I dig
Pacer
some
fan.
Frank Vogel. I hope they do. I love
I
Frank.
love
like what he does.
Frank. Frank's a great guy.
He's been on this show before. He came in and was talking about coming to America and giving us all kinds of dirty movie quotes. I mean, that's the kind of fun
Wait,
dude.
the movie with Eddie Murphy?
Yeah,
He was talking, he was quoting.
He was quoting that in his Letterman appearance.
What?
Yeah.
What is the deal with men quoting movies? I know we're wrapping things up, but men, you guys always know Caddyshack. You know all the
What is
lines.
it with women bitching all the time?
Whatever. I gotta go home.
Say hello to my little friend.
My daughter lost her tooth tonight. Goodbye.
Yes, God bless her. We love her. Bob, what are we working on? Where can we find you, my friend?
You can find me in the same place every damn day. You know, you can find me on Twitter and Facebook and, of course, IndyStar.com and the Indianapolis Star. Buy the damn newspaper.
Just don't
okay?
tweet
We need
me
the money.
death threats.
No death threats. Now, and I won't send you any ricin.
Oh, yeah, that's bad.
Miss Laura Steele, the first lady of rock and roll in the state of Indiana. Where can we find you, my love?
I am, I'm on Twitter at Real Laura Steele. I love new followers. I'm trying to gain
How
some
many
new
you got?
Right now I'm about 1,200, 1,300.
The
Yeah,
next
you're,
15
what are you at?
followers
Don't
to
tell me
Real
what
Laura
you're at.
Steele,
You wanna know what I'm at?
She'll
Wait.
tweet a picture of her cans. Right?
Well, if you tweet it, what are you at?
32,000.
Oh,
Oh,
God, I feel like a loser.
Will you
Yeah.
just do
No,
us a
listen.
favor and say, hey, please follow Hammer and Nigel so
No,
we can get a
we're
little
trying
bump?
to get.
Can we get a bump from Bob
Fine.
Kravitz?
Bob can do that. I'm not doing it because I'm working on my. No, you give me a bump. You give me a bump.
I've had a bump for the last 20 minutes, little lady. What are you talking about?
Wait, I thought that was Nigel. But at Real Laura Steele, Q95.com. I'm also, I've got a Facebook page, a fan page that I haven't even. It's very difficult to like yourself on your fan page on Facebook.
You try it over and
no,
over again?
I have not liked my.
I
no,
like myself quite a bit. When
I
you work
like-
late nights, you like yourself a lot.
I like myself, but I don't want to like myself on my. Brad knows
Sounds
this.
like my single days.
I like myself, but I'm on Laura Steele on Facebook. There's a fan page, and at Real Laura Steele on Twitter. So follow me and go Pacers, and we'll see you in the month of May as well.
I'll be
Bob,
there.
before we go, would you be so kind to give us a liner for the Hammer and Nigel show?
I'll be happy to.
You can make up anything you want. You know, I've covered winners before, but the biggest losers I've ever seen are Hammer and Nigel. Whatever you want to do, I'm sure you've done this a million damn times. BS is rolling right now. We are live and streaming at hammerandnigel.com. Fire away, my friend. Give us what you got.
Hey, Weasels, listen to Hammer and Nigel. This is Bob Kravitz. I implore you.
That's a keeper. All right, everybody. Thank you for coming out to Coach's Tavern.
Bye,
We will talk
everybody.
to you this weekend on X103. Good night.
Good night.
The Hammer and Nigel Show, a product of Dead Radio Entertainment.
Don't worry, nobody's listening anyway.